just saw with Darrell Alderman, who had that race in the sack. I guess anything could happen. Could Gary Bolger possibly upset the titan of the funny car category at this event, Mark Oswald? Finished number 9 in the world last year, got him a little cash flow. I figure right now they got about $17,000 even if they lose here. And that would be their biggest payday ever. Funny car final round, the Mopar Parts Nationals. Bolger leaves with him. Bolger hangs it. Suddenly something happens to Bolger's car. And Mark Oswald, a very nice 5.68. Bill Schultz and the crew thrilled with this win. 286 miles an hour. Bolger departs with a 7.53. Bolger had a great lead, stayed right with him. And Bolger coasting up to is yelling the throttle linkage. Dan fell off the car.
And Gary Bolger was right with Mark Oswald from the start, but then the problems. The fire is gone, the linkage falls, and the throttle is gone as well. And the storybook weekend for Gary Bolger ends in the finals. The loss to Mark Oswald, who picks up his 20th career win. He is at the far end of the track now with our Steve Evans.
Been a while, Mark.
Been a long time, Steve. I'm really proud of my guys, these in-and-out guys. They don't race all the time, but they really showed today that they got what it takes.
You have your sights really set on 95. You're just tuning up.
Yeah, we are. We're rebuilding this team, and thanks to In-N-Out Burger and Penn Hall, International Trucks, H.M. Elliott, Pennzoil, people like that have helped us. Even though we're not running a full schedule, that's really made the difference.
Well, I tell you, you got their attention today. Consistency, incredible.
Yeah, Bill just had this car running excellent.
You polished them off with a 16.
Thank you.
But that air is the same for both race cars, and it can provide even more power for John Force, who's already run an unreal 493 to set the national record at the quickest elapsed time in the history of the sport. And that national record was worth $50,000 bonus money to the Castrol GTX team from the Slick 50 World Record Club. Bob Brandt, 4 consecutive years he was the crew chief for Don Prudhomme when he clinched the Winston Crown, the first driver ever to win 4 in a row in funny car. Now Brandt and Larry Minor and all the crew on the McDonald's Oldsmobile hoping they can come up with a competitive time against Force. And John Force breaks. It is Cruz Pedregon winning in an upset. 5:08, his quickest elapsed time of the weekend at 289 miles an hour. But he did not need the performance. Finally, something happened to John Force. Everybody had said the only person to beat Force will be Force himself. And as we watch in replay, something let go in the drivetrain. Fairly even at this point. As they move to the 8th mile half track, Force starting to move away, and that's where it broke. Who knows what he would have run? Doesn't really matter because Pedregon clinches the title. Steve?
Absolutely brilliant strategy. A 5:08, and we're talking.
Unbelievable. I'm so speechless right now. I want to dedicate this race to Paige Jones. He's gotten involved in a sprint car wreck, and he's unconscious right now, and really feel for him. I've been knowing him for a lot of years, but McDonald's, Larry Minor, Bob Brandt. Hey, what can we say about Bob Brandt? He's come in here in 4 races, 3 finals in a row. What a victory over Force. That's unbelievable. That just goes to show if you hang in there, keep plugging away, we're champions.
Kids out there, you listening?
The McDonald's Oldsmobile undergoing a crew chief change at mid-season with Bob Brandt coming on board to handle the tune-up. His contribution was not fully realized until the previous round when the cruiser ran a 5:14. Competitive, you say? The answer is, well, yes, except John Force running those consistent 5.0s, headed up by that 5:01. Remember, any national record that is established needs a backup within 1%. And John Force's 5:01 has more than qualified for a backup of anything quicker than a 4.99. Conditions never better than right now. And John Force comes oh so close at 5:01. But at 302 miles an hour, John Force has become the fastest funny car driver in history. In replay, you can see John Force adding insult to injury. By nearly 7/100ths of a second, he got a starting line advantage over Pedregon. Then, Cruz, smoking the tires in the middle of the course, fell back. John just stuck to the pavement with all 8 cylinders hitting full and strong. All 5,000 horsepower brought to bear 302 miles an hour.
How's it feel, Rocket Man?
Scares me to death. Coming down the alley, Coyle said, don't lift, don't let it bounce you off the throttle. And my foot was flopping on the throttle and sounded like 2 freight trains. I just want to say to Castro, Jolly Rancher, Wax Shop, Dorman, Fram Light, all the people that make this work, this deal looks good. She won. Only thing I got to say, Joe Gibbs, I've been waiting my whole life for you. Now I'm building money against you. Come on, because it's Super Bowl. Let's do it, buddy.
Joe Gibbs, the new owner of the McDonald's team for 95. Force already wants him.
The challenge has been issued, and if Force keeps running this way, I don't know anybody except maybe himself that's going to stop him. But the numbers on the papers don't indicate that he's got much of a chance. He has run consistently good, ranging from a 5:10 to a 5:22. But John Force, with the exception of that one faux pas, if you will, in round number 2, has been awesome. A 5:06 to qualify, a 5:10, and a 5:09 in the previous round. He and his crew chief, his co-crew chief, Bernie Federley, conversed by 2-way radio. So he knows what's going on. Look out the window. You see Force just drive away from Al Hoffman. There's Bernie and Austin Coyle together, as John Force already knows that he ran the low elapsed time of the meet of 5:03 at 2:91. Not only did he take the win, but the very valuable 50 bonus points that goes to the low elapsed time of the race, and he set it in the final round. Hoffman and crew did everything possible. They had another consistently good time at a 5:18, but Force was brilliant on this run. 5:03, 2:91 at the finish, and John Force wins again and again and again.
6 wins this year. You cap it with a 5:03, best of the weekend.
It was really exciting. It sounds like maybe we're a little bit greedy when you're racing Al Hoffman, guys like that know how to win. We need those extra points, and Coyle was going to push it to try to get that 50 away from Etchels, and he got it. We're excited, but Castro, all the folks, Jolly Rancher, we're just doing our job, but we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Al Hoffman wants to say a word. We'll let you go. Congratulations.
Hey, buddy.
The body up, John Medlin under the car.
John Force has never won here at Vandermeer. Chuck Etchels won just 2 years ago, and John is a little jealous of that. In his early days as a struggling professional, he could always come through Denver at the old Vandermeer Speedway, and if nothing else, get a hot meal if they didn't have a match race available. He loves the family, we all love what they've done to this magnificent racing facility. We tease about the thin air a little bit, but believe me, this is everybody's favorite track.
And they just continue to pour improvement after improvement, and literally pour means lots of concrete going down.
Here we go. This is the final round. Can John Force make it 5 victories this season? Chuck Etchels hasn't won since October of '93. It is no contest. John Force, back in the 20s, 5:25. Huge speed for up here, 282 miles an hour. Etchels threw in the towel at 266 miles an hour. What am I doing here?
Austin, when I grow up, I want to be you. You're unbelievable.
Well, thanks so much, Bob. Like, things go really well once in a while, and it's a whole team that works hard to do all of that. Let me take this opportunity to say hi to my wife, Lisa. She's home moving into our new house all by herself.
Goes all those big bucks those crew chiefs make. What a great job he did.
Hardly describes the achievement that John Force has had this weekend. Great seems to fall just a little bit short. Here he came back in the final round as Etchels, Hayes in the tires, Force without a whisper of smoke off the back of the car, and huge amounts of horsepower. 282 miles an hour. His elapsed time, yet another 5:20, a 5:25.
If I know the Force crew, there'll be a celebration near Thunder Mountain tonight.
there's a big celebration. Up on top of that mountain, my daddy, just like the paper said, up there sitting in heaven with John Vandermeer. Vandermeer said, when's your dumb kid going to win this race? Pop, we won it. All my sponsors, we did. We are tickled pink.
What are you doing to win all these races? You can tell me. Who could I tell?
I got a part-time job selling Autolite spark plugs so I can pay Coyle. Now, we just work hard. We match race a lot. Castrol, Jolly Rancher, all the people that support us. We love you. It's been a long old road. The Wax Shop, Dorman. What can I say, gang?
He said it all, Dave.
Steve, whatever he pays Austin Coyle, it's worth every penny as Chuck Etchels comes over to offer his congratulations. Fire 302 car. Cold Fire 302, by the way, the fire extinguishing compound used by a number of the funny car racers and the NHRA safety safari. And that is Dale Creasy. He owns this car. He tunes this car. This is an independent team up against one of the most well-funded race teams in the sport today. The Larry Minor team, the McDonald's Oldsmobile, driven by Cruz Pedregon. Bolger's already in a deep stage. Gets an advantage at the start, but can't hold on to it, gets close to the center line, and Cruz Pedregon wins it. 5:14 at 289 miles an hour. And for the second race in a row and third out of 4 consecutive final round appearances, Pedregon's the winner. Watch in replay, particularly the car in the far lane. Gary Bolger, he faces the same problem that struck Al Hoffman and John Force. He gets across the center line, but dodges the cones.
Cruz, the steering wheel got to work out middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, it sure did. It was like a sprint car out there. It was loose out there. You know, Bolger, we knew that he ran a 13 or a 15, something like that, so we knew to get down the track and run about a 10, and it was loose. We got a little aggressive in the middle there, but it's great to put the McDonald's car in the final round and win again. We want to win at Pomona.
Austin Coyle making a very slight adjustment. He says to John, everything's okay. A crewman checking out the back end of the Pedregon-driven Oldsmobile. As it has been last season and the year before, John Force and Cruz Pedregon duking it out in a quarter mile of NHRA Winston Championship drag racing. The lane choice here to Cruz Pedregon, a substantial difference on paper. 5:18 to a 5:37. Those times coming from the semifinal round of racing. Oh, what a race, and John Force just squeezes past to take the win. Force elapsed time, 5:18. Pedregon losing at a 5:19 and slowing dramatically at the finish line. Maybe something going wrong, but nothing went wrong for John Force on this run. A 5:18, his best of the weekend. And look at the side-by-side competition that has evolved in this funny car championship round. A puff of smoke or two out of the McDonald's car. That was the problem. Look at Force, 5:18 in the victory. Steve.
John, it looked like he might have had you until he overcooked the burger.
Out the window, you wouldn't believe it. Please, hump you old Chevy run. I couldn't even believe it, man. That was close. I ain't felt this good since Dallas. Hey, all my people, we know Castrol, Jolly Rancher, the Dorman people, the Wax Shop people, Fram, Autolite. This old Chevrolet here, she really an Oldsmobile. Nobody knows her. But I love
They
her.
do now.
We're happy. Fans, 1-800-RACE team. Don't forget, call us.
When he comes out of his shell, he's going to be something, huh?
That is Austin Coyle. He heads up the brain trust that operates the John Force funny car. Goes back nearly 30 years in this sport, if you remember that far back. The Farconis, Coyle, and Minnick team, the old Chi-Town hustler. Well, that's the Coyle, Austin Coyle. The sunlight beaming into the eyes of Chuck Etchels as he tries to concentrate on the Christmas tree. The championship round here at the Autolite Nationals Funny Car Eliminator. We'll have a winner in a moment. Oh, what a tremendous race. That is an absolutely incredible funny car final. The margin of victory was 1,000th of a second, and for the second week in a row, John Force is the winner, 5:14 at 290, and this time he did it with the slower elapsed time. Our instant replay shows you the pictures. Let me give you the times. Force had a 22 thousandth of a second difference at the starting line. At the finish line, in performance, the margin was 21 thousandths of a second. That left 1,000 left over, and it went to John Force. What a race.
Your driving was there when you needed it, John.
Yeah, I've been a little off. Coyle said the way they were running, I really needed to get after him because his car was running good, but we're happy. A little down on power when I hit it, it just boomed. Sounded like it tried to blow up. Then it just rocked and it shook and everything. And I want to thank all the sponsors, especially Fram Autolite for this race, and Castrol, and naturally the Jolly Rancher people, all the people, the wax shop, the doorman, the people that pumped the money in. But I want to stop right here, and I do a lot of dedications. It seems like a lot, but there's a very good friend of our family's that died this weekend, Steve Pluger, who ran my race car for years, and his father, who supported us, Mr. Pluger, passed away this weekend. Not Steve Pluger, but his father did. It was a very big blow to our family, and we wanted to win it for him. And we just love you, and we just wish the family well.
Nicely said, John. Ron Swearingen, the crew chief for Spurlock's car, is responsible for Tommy Anderson being the crew chief for Al Hoffman. Tommy Anderson was happily retired out of drag racing in Western New York. Swearingen a few years back got him to come down to Englishtown to help out on Casey Spurlock's alcohol car. He got the bug again, and there he is, one of the best. And he's not even full-time at it.
And Tommy Anderson, of course, was a great driver in his own right. At one time, held the national record for funny cars. The final checks of the race cars by the crews and the crew chiefs. Then when those bodies come down and the crew walks away, guess who's responsible? The guy sitting in the cockpit. Helen Hoffman, Al's wife, an integral part of this race team.
Absolutely. Originally from Australia. Al met her when he was racing down there, and the two have been inseparable ever since. Spurlock, left-hand side of your screen. Now he's in the near lane with the camera switch. Hoffman, right side. Buster Couch in the middle.
And we're on board. Oh, what a close race, and Casey Spurlock lives the dream. Ronnie Swearingen celebrates as the fruit of the loom. Dodge wins it a 5-12 to a losing 5-12. Bob?
Oh, Ronnie, that makes all the work over the last couple of weeks well worth it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We put this whole thing together, like I said before, in a matter of 3 weeks, and as you can hear, I've got the biggest team out here, and I want to thank all my guys, my wife at home, and God.
Whatever it was in that semifinals that slowed you guys down, you certainly got it straightened out here for the finals.
Yeah, we got no computer reading, so it was all kind of a guess, and like I said, thank the Lord.
Figured you needed a 5-12 to win it?
I actually figured it was going to go about 08.
Just a great job. Congratulations to the new team and Ronnie Swearingen. Dave?
Bobby may not have gotten the 508, but got the one thing that is more critical than any, and that is the win light in the final round of an NHRA Winston Championship drag race. Look at this one, the advantage off the starting line by Casey Spurlock in the near lane was just enough to carry him to a 21 thousandth of a second victory over Hoffman. That's how close it was in the terms of distance at the finish line. Steve?
Well, David, they call him Hollywood, and that's where I think they write his scripts. Unbelievable.
Oh, Steve, that was an unbelievable run. The car was really moving out there. It started to spin the tires a little bit and was moving around in the middle of the track. I really had to drive the car down there, but no way was I going to lift. I was going to get this car to the finish line one way or the other.
You both ran 12.
Well, that means I must have done it on reaction time then, and if I did, that one's for the crew. These guys have worked so hard on this Fruit of the Loom Activewear Dodge Daytona, Steve.
Would you ever sell this car again? It's the same car you won with the 90.
I will never sell this car. This will be in the living room of my house one of these days.
Casey Spurlock, congratulations to you and Fruit of the Loom.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Okay, Lena Jones will bring in the trophy from Chief Auto Parts. She's the promotions director there, and I'll go back to Dave McClellan. I don't think I've ever seen Al Hoffman so intent on winning. Leonard Hughes would like to win one too, but Hoffman it's been his day. He knows that he should win. not only for the points, not only for the money, but obviously for his good friend Jerry Caminito. We've talked about that earlier in the show. The body up on the Hoffman car, that's business as usual, making whatever adjustments it is they do. Tommy Anderson latches it down. Anderson has done a masterful job of adapting this car and Al Hoffman to this ever-changing racetrack. Gordy Bonnet, he's just a winner in life. I don't care what you put him in. Somehow, someday, he will figure how to win with it. Whether it's this afternoon, I have my doubts. There's Hoffman. You're on board with him. And look out the left window. There's Bonnet. Bonnet wins it on a whole shot. Gordy Bonnet's 5:33 beats Al Hoffman's 5:31. Like I said, he's just a winner in life. Let's go to the starting line and Bob Fry again.
Leonard Hughes has captured the win. Leonard, way to go.
Well, they just kept giving it to us every round. I mean, we're not running that good. We just kept hanging in. They just kept giving it to us.
You're not going to give it back, are you?
No, I don't think so. It's been a while.
While Leonard may be thinking they're giving the wins to him, I would say Gordy Bonnet earned this one. He had about a 2/100th of a second advantage off the starting line. Al Hoffman had about a 2/100th of a second advantage in performance. At the finish line, the margin of victory literally was inches and was 0.02 of a second. Steve?
And Gordy, you have made many a deposit into the drag racing luck bank. Today you made a couple of withdrawals. Fair is fair.
I guess fair is fair, Steve. Damn. Smoking Joe's team, everybody back in Winston-Salem, thank you for your support. We just, obviously we could have put this thing together without them and without the Ford folks and Paul and Leonard. Goodyear, I mean, they're all here for a reason.
Were you sure you had won? It was 0.02 of a second.
I had no clue. It was the same as the first round. I didn't know who won. I saw Scusa's car first round to the last second, and I heard Al right there, and when I shut off, his nose was right there. I thought, man, did I shut this thing off too early for the first time ever? But when luck's with you, it's with you, and today it's with you. Thank God.
Amen. Dave McClellan.